Welcome to Top Tier Wrestling, your ultimate destination for all things AEW and WWE. Whether you're a hardcore wrestling fanatic or just a casual viewer, we've got you covered with the latest news, in-depth show reviews, and our unfiltered opinions on everything happening in the world of professional wrestling. Join us as we dive into the high-octane action, dramatic storylines, and backstage buzz of AEW and WWE. Get ready to step into the ring with us and stay on top of the wrestling world. This is Top Tier Wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Top Tier Wrestling Podcast. I am your ruthless overlord, Dawn. The heel is Two's the realist, here to bring the verbal heat. And alongside me, as always, is the fair and gentle ruler, the glorious face of our channel, Josh, here to make sure that my healery is well under control with his dastardly annoyances like logic and reasoning. We're here to cover Friday Night SmackDown for my recognized national holiday, Friday the 13th. Let's get into it.
Nice. Friday the 13th. No
Cheers.
Jason Voorhees or anything. I'm
That
surprised.
he stole my holiday. Okay?
Oh, well. Then they
It's
should have.
all anybody
didn't
ever
they call
talks
you?
about.
They
You know
should
what?
have called you.
It's a long story. It's kind of like, it's a long story. Okay, I'm just saying. They know out there. Jason, Mr. Voorhees, if that is in fact your real name, you know what you did. You know. That's all that I need.
That's why he wears the mask. Guilty conscience.
Yeah,
He knows what he did.
hide your shame, Mr. Voorhees. Hide it. All right.
Well, he should hide it.
That's how you start this shit.
Hey.
Jason Voorhees giving him threats. Hey, fuck you, buddy. All right, wrestle time.
I'm just surprised they didn't have like somebody come out like Braun Strowman in a hockey mask or something.
Oh man, that would have been awesome.
Yeah. Although I don't know, maybe not enough people like even consider Friday the 13th as like anything special at this
Bite
point. So they would have missed
your
the joke.
tongue. That's it.
I don't disagree with you on that one. I'm just saying maybe people would be like, "Why is Braun Strowman wearing a hockey mask?" And yeah, I don't know.
What kind of freaky shit is he into?
I mean, wrestling programs don't seem to think we can remember stuff that happened from before the commercial break, so they have to recap it. So it's not real surprising if they'd be like, I don't know if people will put this together. So
yeah, they would try to do a lot of hand holding. I think the only way that could work is if he came out with the hockey mask and was just like screaming like incessantly, "I'm Jason Voorhees!" Like that's the only way.
What-
And then he fucking gets up to the ring and he's like, "Hey guys, remember that movie? I'm Jay. It's Friday the 13th, right? And I'm that guy. That's me. Haha." Hey, that's the only way I think.
No, what it would have been like just out of nowhere coming down the entrance ramp is like Chelsea Green, and for whatever reason she's wearing high heels. I don't know why, but she keeps tripping on them,
running and screaming, looking
and then
behind
Braun
her.
Strowman's just walking behind her with his mask, and she can't get away because
Man.
she keeps falling over the heels.
Then I think people might get it. Maybe. Mayhaps.
The only downside to Braun Strowman being Jason in that is like who would actually stop him? No one.
Not even my good friend Smith and Weston. I think
Now that might.
I don't know, man. I don't know. If you're packing anything like a 22, then yeah, thanks. That's a snack for him.
It's like, is that a big mosquito? What is that?
I think honestly, if you shot at him with a 22, his body would absorb that bullet and then just make it a part of his bone.
He'd be like, "Thanks, I needed more iron in my diet."
It'll just be a part of his structural integrity.
Right? Good job. Now you've armored him.
Yeah, thanks. Now he's adamantium. Thanks. You made him Wolverine. You
That's a
shit.
terrifying thought. Braun Strowman
Oh.
is the Wolverine.
Yeah, that is pretty scary. That's about as scary as Henry Cavill. Or hell, Logan. It's about as scary as what's the fucking guy's name? The one who plays him right now.
Hugh Jackman?
Thank you, Huge Jackman. Mr. Huge Jackman. Okay, I don't like that. Never mind. I didn't like the way that sounded.
Huge
Oh.
Jackman. There you go.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I
it's
can't
funny.
put a in between Jack.
Yeah. It's funny that we were just talking about someone whose bones can't be broken because we start the show off tonight with somebody, with Jimmy Uso coming out talking about his broken toe.
I think you mean Mr. Tippy Toe, Jimmy Uso.
Mr. Tippy Toe. He's down since one toe-ish.
Yeah. Listen, all I want to say is he came out. He came out, and everybody like he gets into the ring, and everybody's like yeet, yeet, and I remember
They're just
thinking,
yeeting.
I remember thinking that is not even the right guy. What the fuck? What are we doing? And that he pointed that out. That's the first thing he said was, "That's the wrong twin, by the way." And you heard, I don't know why, but for some reason it does my heart good to hear an actual laugh or chuckle from the audience. Like, I don't know why, but I always like to hear wrestling audiences laugh. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good, especially when it's genuine, because like it was pretty funny what
Yeah.
he said there. And I think Jimmy Uso is probably like woefully underutilized.
Yeah.
But
Well, he wasn't Friday, and I gotta say, I kind of wish, I kind of wish that maybe they had like, I don't know, given him about half of that time to talk, because I feel like my man was heavily medicated, but also in pain. Like I could see, I could almost feel like pain. I don't even know how to explain it, but he did not look all together. Like my man looked disheveled as shit. Like he was just living that Viking life. Like he was probably on cloud 9 when he came in there.
I wouldn't blame him, especially
No, I
kept
don't.
replaying like the spot where the toe was broken, and he slammed the hell out of it.
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
don't blame him either. I'm just saying that maybe they should have let him sleep in. Just like, let him let him cut just like a promo, film it. They let Roman Reigns do it. Roman Reigns just don't come
Yeah.
to just don't come to the fucking, arena whenever they need him. He'll record himself. So they could have done that. I like that he was there. I like that he was in good spirits. And I guess what happens wouldn't have been able to happen had it been recorded. And I'm kind of joking, but he didn't look very comfortable or very coherent when he got up there.
I don't. I think for a guy who's probably, like you said, like riding on some pain medication because it
Listen,
hasn't been that long, I think he did great.
I know all about not being coherent all the time. So I'm saying I could see it all on my man. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I can see
Yeah.
that. I know what that's about. That look of huh?
Well, and I think he cut a pretty good promo for a guy on one leg. There's people there that are perfectly fine that can't cut a promo.
Ooh, you messing?
Shots fired.
And I'm the heel?
Yeah, well, pick any given day.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
I mean, a recent epic rant might suggest that I am in fact the heel.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Well, I think everybody's the heel whenever we are
Upset.
yeah, whenever we're put into where we feel like we're put into a situation where it's just bullshit. Like where we feel like we've been given bullshit and we know that something can be better. We've seen better. Then yeah, I think everybody in that case was just a little bit better. Just a little bit. All right.
Got to hold their feet to the fire, except if it's Jimmy Uso, because one of his feet is messed up right now.
Yeah, yeah, one of his
But
little feeties.
to summarize, kind of what Jimmy was talking about is he mentioned that he's very proud of everybody in the bloodline, both sides. Doesn't matter. Um, Almost a little bit off kayfabe there because it's like he's proud of his family and what they're
Yeah,
doing in the industry right now. Maybe that was the drugs. I don't know.
and
but
probably.
but I think he was sincere with what he
Yeah,
was saying there, and then I think he wanted to answer the question that people had been asking, like, what's next for Big Jim, and he said he doesn't know yet, but he feels like it's going to be a big year for him. Maybe he'll be the Rumble winner. Maybe he'll go after the U.S. title. Uh, Heck, if he's dreaming big, he might go after the undisputed WWE Championship too.
yeah. Calm down,
Um,
calm down there, buddy. I'm just kidding.
but
I'm
but
kidding.
he was pointing out it's a big year for him. You know, OTC's not there, Jay isn't there, Sammy ain't there, CM Punk ain't there, Wise Man's not there, but Big Jim's there on one big toe. And he says there's a big new year coming for Jimmy Uso. And there was definitely something stalking Jimmy Uso, but I don't know if it's the new year because he got
Yes,
done saying that, and suddenly he was getting clocked by Drew McIntyre from out of nowhere with a claymore. And so, if he was in fact heavily medicated, it was probably a good thing because that foot he was missing, he just got in spades from Drew
yeah.
McIntyre.
He didn't feel it. Yeah,
He
like
is part of the Samoan dynasty, so maybe while on pain meds, the shot to the head, maybe he didn't feel it.
he's talking about all the people that's not there, and there should like somebody just needs to make a meme right now where he's talking about all the people that aren't there, and then we could put in a Star Wars clip where it's like, no, there is another, and then we'll just have Drew come out of nowhere and kicking him right in the face.
And now Jimmy is not there either.
Rip. Yeah,
But
Ripley Pickles.
basically, he claymores Jimmy and then proceeds to kind of go for some ground pound on him. And then the officials all show up, and McIntyre kind of puts his hands up like he's surrendering. He's already done what he came to do. And Nick Aldis is just ranting at him as they walk back up the entrance ramp,
Yeah, just being Nick
like
Aldis.
like an angry mom. He's like, "I
He
told
did
you not to
angry
do that."
mom him. Yeah, he did angry suburban mom him. Like all the way to the minivan, she was just giving him the business. Hands on hips, just upsetty spaghetti.
That just that just put a mental image in my head of Nick Aldis ranting at Drew, but like he has AJ Styles' mom haircut.
I was just about to say that. Oh my twinsies! Yeah,
Seriously,
I was just about to say. Actually, I was gonna say put a Karen haircut on him. We know the Karen haircut. You know what I'm talking about.
I mean, we are effectively saying
We're
the
saying
same
the
thing.
same thing. Yeah, put it on him, and then just another meme, guys. We're giving you gold right now. We're giving
Meme
you
gold.
gold, meme gold. Okay. Um. So he walks him all the way to the back with the mom scolding, and McIntyre's just like walking like I don't hear a bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like he's
he's
just
not even hurried. He's
I'm
just
walking on sunshine.
yeah, with
What?
a
Yeah, that's what.
Cheshire cat grin the whole
Yeah, he
time. Like
he
he
does
is
not
so
care.
pleased with himself.
Like in fact, he may be getting screamed at, but in his mind, he's probably hearing Nick Aldis going, "Oh, you've done a fantastic job. I'm so happy that you're a part of this company, and I can't wait for you to come to Friday Night SmackDown. This is amazing." Like he's probably just hearing that in his head, or probably nothing at all, because I don't know. When I was a little blockhead as a kid, whenever I got yelled at, I had it like down to an art to be able to just not hear anything.
Just tune out entirely. Yeah,
My
you're probably right.
autism
Like it's
bubble was
just
real, baby. Like it
like
was
it's
like, yeah. Go
it
ahead.
makes me think you've spoken a couple of times about memes, and in my head I kind of see this video that's a package put together of Drew McIntyre like claymoring Sami Zayn from out of nowhere, and then there's a clip of like Jay holding his head, and then there's a clip of Drew McIntyre claymoring Jimmy Uso, and then you've got Nick Aldis walking him down the ramp, and he's got this big grin on his face, and the whole time through all of that is playing "I'm Walking on Sunshine."
Yeah. Yep, that's it. My man was happy. The only time he wasn't walking on sunshine was when he was flying across gravity to kick
Yeah,
somebody right in the face. That's the only
he
time
was
he wasn't.
walking on air then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Then he was floating. He was, yeah. So yeah.
Right there needs to be a meme where Drew is throwing the claymore, but instead of being like in a fighting pose, he's laid back with just one foot out going towards somebody's face, and he's just happy as shit, chill. He's like just
The
so pleased about it.
wind's blowing his hair. He's just living the best the best life ever. His amazing meme. Yeah. Yeah, so he walks him all the way to the back with the crazy mom, like, I can't believe you talk. And after that, we get to the back women's locker room, and Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton are having a conversation now. Uh Nia was quote unquote giving Tiffany encouragement ahead of her US title tournament match. Um but it didn't sound like encouragement, like, because I mean, basically she used that opportunity to tell her that she would need the money in the bank briefcase anymore, and that she doesn't need to resort to cheap tactics. And Naya and Candice both were like wishing Tiffany luck. And for the record, Candice LeRae
Luck.
showed, yeah, look, quote unquote, you guys can't see it, but I'm doing quotation marks, luck. um And I have to say, Candice LeRae still absolutely unimportant. And I'm not. You know what? Fuck it. I am being mean, I guess. She's not important. I feel like we're being forced to accept her in whatever fucking uh group or faction this is supposed to be. This weird shit show. Um, and
Yeah.
even the commentators are like mentioning stuff like they're basically making it sound like Naya and Tiffany were like just the best of friends, like to each other, like they knew each other or whatever, like they actually had a friendly relationship. Um, Prior to Candice LeRae showing up, which is just kind of like weird because that's not the dynamic. It never was, and it's not the dynamic now.
Yeah.
Like in fact, Naya, and they like, I don't even know what this personality was they gave her. This like this soft spoken like Karen thing that she was doing, like, so whenever you win this match, you won't need to use the money in the bank briefcase. And like, what the fuck is this? Um so I'm not sure. I'm not sure where they're going with that, but I know there's one thing that I do know. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Candice LeRae, that is the future of the women's division in WWE. You guys are sleeping on her. I'm fucking with you. No, she's unimportant. She didn't do nothing. The little lines that they gave her, fucking Nia could have done that. Like the heat that we're supposedly feeling between Tiffany and Candice. Are you joking? Tiffany should be
Yeah.
able to wipe the floor. What has Candice done that makes you or anyone else think that she could reasonably take Tiffany in the ring? Whatever it is that y'all are smoking on, hand it to me, please, because it's way better than anything I'm fucking with. If y'all are seriously telling me that Tiffany Stratton and Candice LeRae could give you a banger of a match where Candice could possibly win, come on.
And maybe if Naya clocks her while she's outside the ring or something.
Yeah,
Um,
and plus she came out. I just want to say one more thing about Candice. She came out with this makeup on that literally looked like they didn't have anybody to do her makeup. And so she went into the green room or the rec room to do her own makeup, but then the lights went out, and she had to finish because she had to get out and do her thing. That's how her makeup was looking. Maybe they were trying to give her a dark look. Maybe she's like uh the Joker. I don't know. I don't know what they're going for, but she looked stupid. I'm just gonna keep it real. She looked ridiculous. Her part in this relationship with Nia Jax and Tiffany, it feels like they just needed something for her to do. In which case, if you're just trying to find something for her to do, how about you go have her sit down like you did with Indy Hartwell? I'm not understanding why she's still here if you just don't know what to do with her. Indy Hartwell had a better situation going when she was helping Candice LeRae win matches. That was more important than what Candice LeRae is doing right now. I'm just to me that it's more important. So I don't know what the fuck's happening. I don't know why we keep trying to keep Candice LeRae relevant. I don't know why she ain't at NXT or something. Like that's what you guys normally do when you ain't got nothing for nobody. So I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh, but I know I don't care, and I don't think Candice LeRae needs to be in the forefront like she's been so far. It's my
Yeah,
opinion.
I think Triple H has a real affinity for the Gargano family, as is
Yeah,
all I can assume, and that
yeah, they
extends
must be
not just to
besties.
Candice but to Johnny as well. Like
Yeah.
he sees something apparently we don't, or he just like I don't know.
Yeah. Well, right now, all I can say is y'all look like the wrestling version of P Diddy and Jay Z and Beyonce, where you guys are just close knit and just like three peas in a pod. I'm not saying the allegation. Not saying with the allegations, yo. Not that, but the relationship, the closeness. How like you see one and you're gonna see the other. Like that's what it looks like right now. But I mean, Candice LeRae, bruh. If you feel that strongly about her, then get her something to do. Put her in the ring. Show us that she's someone that we should be considering. You ain't doing that.
Yeah, I fully agree with you that this story arc becomes weird because in order for this to make sense, we have to assume that all along Tiffany was really like
Right.
fangirling for Nia Jax, which
Yeah. When
I
the fuck
don't
that
believe.
happened?
Like at the beginning of that particular angle, that was not the case. Like Nia
Right.
would walk off screen and we'd see Tiffany mean mug her. And now we're expected to believe that Tiffany is like feeling threatened about her position as the top lackey to the current champion
Yeah.
by anything that Candice LeRae is doing, and it just feels like a weird. It it doesn't make sense. It doesn't track correctly. Um, and I think that's the broader point you were making.
Yeah.
And you know, in order for where we're at now to make sense, we have to believe that Tiffany all along really was just a big fan of Nia Jax and really wanted to be her lackey.
Right. Like I,
And
I I just don't understand where this came from.
yeah, and that's one, it's weird because it's not consistent with how we started, and two, Tiffany Stratton is just not. I mean, she's definitely not a talent that needs to be a lackey to anyone.
No.
But I don't know. Maybe they want to drag this out because they want to give Nia more of a title run. I think all roads
Mayhaps.
ultimately lead to Tiffany Stratton at this point cashing in successfully to become the new champ over Nia Jax, and then
Yeah,
everyone's
for
supposed to be
sure.
like, "Oh my god, I didn't see it coming."
Come
And I'm
on.
like, the only one who didn't see it coming might be blind, and heck, they might be able to read the room enough to see it themselves.
Yeah, nah, they if they blind, they can't see it. They felt the fucking vibrations. Quit playing with me. Everybody, everybody knows that this is what's going to happen inevitably. So
Well, I mean,
you
it
know,
has
you know
to.
what
There
this is?
isn't
This is
any
this.
other.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it has to at this point. Like, it's not about like, oh, I see it coming. At this point, there's no satisfaction if it doesn't go that way. Like, there's
Yeah,
no other way it can go at this point with all the stuff that's transpired
right.
that the audience will appreciate at all.
And to me, this feels this really weird, convoluted storyline that they're just putting together and making it more confusing as it goes by. Like adding Candice LeRae does not help the dynamic of the storyline. Like you haven't done any improvements here. You've just made it a tad bit more confusing. And this storyline reminds me a lot of AEW storyline with MJF, Adam Cole, and Kyle O'Reilly. Like
Yeah, like just random insert.
just
It
yeah,
makes. Well,
insert random guy. Like
I'll
I
be
don't get it.
I'll be perfectly honest. Like Candice LeRae cozying up to the champion to inevitably stab her in the back because she's the poison pixie. I mean, we know that's what she's about too, right?
Yeah.
She's just trying to eliminate any potential competition. So that's less surprising, that dynamic, than the stuff where like Kyle O'Reilly like becomes self-insert after one deliberately saying he didn't want anything to do with them, and two somehow blaming all of his friends for what MJF is doing. That makes so
Yeah.
much less sense than this. This
Yeah.
has
Yeah. No,
a
you're right.
slight
You're right.
continuity issue. The other thing just completely came off the
No,
rails.
I didn't mean the same level of severity. I mean, it's the same in the sense that where did this chick come from? Why is she now a part of this? And what dynamic is she bringing to it? Which is the answer is nothing. And that's how I feel about Kyle O'Reilly. So I mean, that's what I meant when I said that it reminds me of this, like the storyline. They're equally as like unnecessary, not
Yeah.
as equally confusing because you're right. MJF and Adam Cole's situation is way more confusing, way more unfollowable. Like it's just I don't know where they were going, honestly, and I can't even I can hardly remember where they were trying to go from the get go, from the beginning. I
Yeah.
just like it's all over the place. So yes, severity way, 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 way worse. But to me, they're about the same when it comes to why is this happening? Like
No,
it's the
you're
same.
right.
You
You're
know what I
right
mean?
about
Like
that. Yeah, yeah. It's a continuity problem. Like it doesn't track.
yeah,
Um,
right, right, right.
Now, what would make it cool? Just to because I don't want to offer criticism and not a possible out, maybe a way to make it good.
Yeah,
What would make it cool is right now it looks like Candice LeRae and Tiffany Stratton don't much care for each other, right? They're competing for top lackey position. What
yeah.
would make it cool is if when Tiffany inevitably does do the cash in, Nia looks for help, and Candice turns out to be working with Tiffany, and they were both plotting Nia's downfall. That would
Now
be
you're
some cool
talking.
shit.
Yeah, that I'd be there for that. I'd be like, oh shit,
Turns
long
out they've
game.
been
Okay,
yeah, it turns out Tiffany's been playing that 4D chess, and her and Candice have been in it from the get-go,
but you
and
think they
Nia
would
fell
do
for all
that?
of it because she's got, I don't know if they would do it. I'm just saying what I think would be cool. Maybe they'll
Yeah.
do it.
Well, no, no.
But
I mean, only because it's very similar to what they've done with her husband.
well, to be perfectly fair, Johnny doing that was, I think, a last ditch effort for DIY. But to be consistent, ever since like last year when Candice LeRae was running around with Indy Hartwell, Candice LeRae has been doing the heel shit longer. So Candice LeRae being on board for this wouldn't look like she's copying Johnny Gargano. If anything, it looks the other way around. She was doing it
True.
first. Johnny's
Yeah.
been, Mr. Facey McFace face,
Ugh.
generic guy. Whereas Candice LeRae started trying to come out with that heel personality back with Indy Hartwell. Remember how Indy was like, "Oh, I don't know about winning matches like this. This seems shady." And she was like, "Shut
Yeah.
up. Win the match. Winning is winning. Winners win. Shut your mouth."
Yeah.
And, it clearly worked. Candice is still here. Um, so
Yeah.
I think that would be, and so to answer your question, no, I don't think it would look like Candace is following what Johnny was doing. If anything, Johnny has started to try and, Johnny is taking a note out of her page, if that's the way we're looking at it. She's been doing the heel turn since last year. She's just been not as on screen, but I would see that being brilliant, especially if in the long game Tiffany's like, "Hey, I tell you what, you help me get her, you help me take her down, and you get the first title shot." And Candace is like, "On it,"
Yeah.
because I think Candace would favor those odds because Nia Jax is humongous, and Candice LeRae can clearly see that. I
Hmm.
ain't gonna win that match, but I
Yeah.
could potentially beat Tiffany.
Yeah. No. But okay, sure.
Yeah, no, I know what you were saying, and I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
disagree. There's no planet where I honestly see Tiffany being beaten by Candice LeRae, but there's even less of a planet where I see Candice LeRae beating Nia Jax. So
True.
I could see her being convinced that it would be in all of the women's division best interest to take down the behemoth monster that is Nia Jax,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
order
yeah,
to
yeah.
have a better shot.
Yeah, very true.
So I think that would be cool because then the two girls that look like they were nothing but lackeys and Tiffany, who they're trying to portray as being this dumb blonde, will in fact look like they were 5 steps ahead the whole time. And that would be a cool double switch.
Yeah. Also, uh, I just wanted to make note that Tiffany Stratton, I believe, was dressed like a peppermint stick. So
Oh, the most crucial element of this angle. You're
that
right.
also
She
happened.
she was dressed like either a peppermint stick or like one of Santa's little elves.
Yeah,
Or what did they say? A present to be unwrapped?
yeah.
Uh,
I don't want to. I don't. I don't. I know. I look. There are some places that I will go, but that is an immediate cancellation. I am not going there.
you're like, nope. I want off this conversation train, please.
Nope. Looking at the ceiling. I have nothing to do with that.
Yep.
Um, but after all that transpired, we get more Nick Aldis mom mom screaming at Drew McIntyre,
Yeah. Apparently, he's been just dressing down Drew the
just
entire time
giving it
through
to
that
him,
entire
man.
part with
Yeah,
Naya, just griping at him the whole way.
just giving him the entire business, and my man was still smiling. At when but I think it was Bianca Belair and Naomi that walked up to him while he was still giving Drew the business and asked if now was a bad time to talk. And he stopped his screaming
To
long
send Drew
enough
to his room.
to send Drew to his room. Like, you get in there, get in that room.
Get in my
And
office.
Drew was like, aye, Captain, and just like, turned heel and went into the office. Um, and so Bianca and Naomi were asking, basically, uh, Nick was basically letting them know that Jade Cargill, like, the investigation was still underway. Again, these people just ain't got cameras nowhere, apparently, backstage to determine what happened anywhere. So
No,
the
it's a
investigation
secret
is
to everyone.
yes, the investigation is still quote unquote underway. But he did want to bring up the very uncomfortable situation or the very uncomfortable topic of of Bianca having to relinquish her women's tag team titles because she couldn't defend it alone. MJF says, "Hold my belt." Um, and Naomi was like, "No, she's never relinquished anything in her life. Let me do it." I don't know why I'm talking like that. Let me. So basically, she wants to take Jade's place, and Aldous is apparently gonna run up the flagpole, but he wants to
Immediately,
know.
Naomi did it. Naomi is the one who threw Jade
That's the
Cargill.
first thing I said. I was like, Naomi did it. And I can't wait for them to find this grainy footage that apparently doesn't exist, but suddenly does whenever the time's right. Hey, maybe she paid 50,000 to keep it hidden. Maybe she pulled a P Diddy. And she was like, don't let nobody see that.
No. I mean, we know they have the backstage cameras. They have to.
I know they do. That's why I'm like, whenever
I
it's
mean,
convenient, you don't.
remember when Carlito threw Dragon Lee into the
I do.
garage door?
I do.
I
That
mean,
was
we know they.
that was the funniest thing
Oh
Carlito has ever
snap!
done.
It was Carlito. That's his mo.
Yeah, he might have. He put on a dress to disguise himself. I
No.
can't with this.
It makes sense. No. Hear me out.
I'm listening.
Right? They should check. I don't know. The crime scene's probably tampered with, but you should check for pieces of apple. But
My
I'm
God.
all right. Follow me on this tangent.
All right.
We know Carlito in the past has done backstage attacks to get someone out of the way.
Right.
We also know Carlito seems to be making goo goo eyes at Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah, I guess that's what you call that.
We also know
I call it predator pose.
that's not cool.
Yeah.
We also know that Carlito. Sorry. We also know that Raquel and Liv have been eyeballing the tag titles.
True, true.
So that's the chain that brings Carlito into the picture. Carlito did it.
Oh. Way to go, Carlito. That's the coolest thing you've done.
I mean, I doubt that's actually what happened, but I could
It'd
see
be
it.
awesome though.
We
I'd
could
be like,
draw the
what?
line. Yeah. And
Like
he's all
what?
like,
He could do it like it was an accident, like he accidentally bumped into her or something.
right, right. She took his apple and he was like, hey, and shoved her, and that was it.
Oh my god. I'm so glad you said that, not the other way around. Swear to God, I thought you were about to say he tried to take her apple, and I'm like, no,
No. Anyway, I don't want to go down that road. I don't even want to
no.
think about where that road leads.
Ugh.
But I don't. That could be interesting. And then like Raquel and Liv are like shocked. They're like, "We didn't authorize this." And he's all like, "Well, I know you two wanted to have the tag titles."
What is this
And
accent that you
I
just
don't
did?
know. It's not cool though. Uh, I think they call it Southeast Applian. Um,
Like, what is that? Applian.
it's Aplito. Um, but he goes on to tell him that he did it because he was trying to impress Raquel, and there you go. There that might even be a storyline they had never considered, and now they're like, assuming anyone from WWE cares or has even heard a word I've ever said in my life.
Yeah.
Now they can be like, oh, hey, you know,
Yeah, and I don't know if Carlito would be like okay with like, yeah, I'll be the woman beater. I'll be the woman
oh,
beater
please.
for a WWE story. I don't think he will.
He's already the one that can't tell Japanese from Chinese, so why not?
I mean, don't add more to my man's plate. Is all I'm saying. Don't add more to. He's already struggling. Okay, he's trying to learn Chinese right now, guys.
Hey, that would suddenly make Carlito like the heeliest heel. Like Dominic Mysterio, they would forget about. They'd boo him. The Carlito wouldn't be able to get an apple.
True, true, true. But yeah. Long story short, Nick Aldis is gonna run it up the flagpole, whatever the fuck that means. But he also needs to know that they'll be fighting champions, and be willing to defend them as soon as next week. So I'm like, yeah, I guess if you're still running it up the flagpole, like you said you were, unless
And
you
he's
just talk to them, like you just like hold on, let me call them, and like you used your brain or some shit to get in contact with the flagpole people.
which talking. I mean, Nick Aldis running it up the chain, so to speak, is literally him walking 5 feet to gorilla position where Triple H is probably sitting and going,
Yeah,
"Hey, what do you think about this?"
like, yeah, who you about to talk
And
to?
that's assuming he doesn't have like a phone. He doesn't need
Unless
one though.
unless they just have like a collective hive where they can like send messages out mentally, uh because of the Rock. He
Oh
has
yeah,
he
yeah,
has
yeah.
powers.
Yep.
Guys, don't listen to me
That's who he's
today.
got to talk to. It's not Triple H. He's got to get Dwayne on the line, and see if TKO approves.
He's gotta
No,
go.
seriously, Triple H is like 10 feet away from you. You could be like,
Yeah,
hey, Hunter, what do you think about this? And Hunter could be like thumbs up while he's got his little headset on.
yeah. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Like
Right?
or thumb in the middle, which means let me think about it.
He makes it sound like it's the most in-depth process, and it's
Yeah.
like Triple H is right there. Just ask
I
him.
mean, you gotta run it up the flagpole, but all you have to do is just go around the corner, be like, Hunter, can we? Can
What do you think of Naomi stepping in to defend? With and he'd be like, "Oh, that's a good idea. Way to way to go."
Yeah, and then boom, done. But the fuck do we know? Uh, and that leads us to, guys. We were talking for so long, and we haven't even got to the first match yet. Jesus Christ! The first match: Tiffany Stratton versus Mi Chen. This is a semi-final round match. in the WWE Women's United States Championship tournament. Say that 3 times fast. It's a lot of mouth words.
Sure won't. Not gonna do it.
And I mean, so because of the nature of the belt that we're talking about, I'll be the first to say, and I'm pretty sure you guys, everybody else that watches wrestling that knows how this works, I'm pretty sure we all knew that Tiffany Stratton weren't gonna win. Um, just because of the nature of the belt. Tiffany has a bigger belt in mind. Um, and Michin, I mean, she's what mid like I I'm not trying to be like a prick, but I'm saying this belt was made for like a person like Michin or Chelsea Green, right?
It's.
Like
I don't think it's an insult to call it the mid card title.
right, yes, this is a mid card
That's what
title.
it is.
So and that's not Tiffany. So Tiffany is not so I mean common sense tells everybody, and if you're a wrestling fan and you've been watching for a minute, then you know how this works. Okay? Um, so we're all waiting to see if we're gonna get us a good match. That's what the people that know how this is gonna work. We just want to see if it's gonna be a good match. I know that's
I
how Josh and I felt when we were watching it.
Yep, because I mean, like, there's only one conclusion that makes sense, and that's for
Absolutely.
mid card wrestlers to be the ones that go after the women's U.S. championship.
Yeah.
Because there'd be too much complaining if, like, the people that are at the top, the women at the top of the card, end up taking the mid card title. That'd be like Roman Reigns going and gathering up the U.S. championship, and it's like, come on.
Yeah. Like why, bro? Why? Why are you over here with this? Um so I mean we all like from the moment Bianca Belair was running backstage because her girl got imprinted into a car. Um we
We've known,
knew like
yeah,
we've known, right? So um I think for me, the biggest thing was could you make the win that Michin will inevitably receive? Could you make it believable against Tiffany Stratton? That's what I was looking for.
yeah, and I think for the most part they did. I felt like this was a
I
good
think they did.
match that
Yeah,
they had. There was just one spot that was a little off, and it was near the end where Michin is trying to roll out of the way of the prettiest moonsault ever, and she didn't quite roll all the way out of the way,
yeah,
so she still got tagged with it. But then she still got up and nails Tiffany Stratton with Eat Defeat to pick up the victory.
yeah,
If there was only one part of that I felt like could be better, it's not a criticism of this match. It's more of a criticism of Michin's moveset. I don't really see Eat Defeat as being like a finisher. Like it's not a big enough, ballsy enough move.
yeah,
Um, but outside of that, it was a pretty solid match between the two of them. The give and take was good. Stratton and Michin both looked good. Um,
I
Michin looked like she debuted like a variation of the tarantula done through the middle rope
yeah,
that I
yeah,
hadn't
yeah,
seen
yeah.
before. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
she heard. I think it was Michael Cole or Corey, one of them, make the comparison to Tajiri, and she was like, "Tajiri, my ass! I'm gonna make this
Yeah,
a Michin move," and decided she
yeah,
wants to mix it up enough to make it more hers. Than she doesn't want you to think, "Oh, Tajiri." She wants you to think, "Oh, Michin."
yeah. Well, I mean, uh, there are no quote unquote new moves under the sun. I guess I mean quote unquote is the phrase today. Um,
Quote unquote.
quote unquote. But I think you have to make a move yours, especially if you're doing something that somebody sees and notices and goes, "Oh yeah, the last time I saw somebody do that, it was this person or that person." So
Yep.
the last time we'd ever seen this tarantula business was from uh Tajiri. Am I saying the same right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have to make sure because the Louisiana comes out.
Yeah. Some
um.
Tajiri originals that I can recall are the tarantula. His spider suplex off of the top rope was really cool, and he was kicking people's heads off before Brian Danielson even was considering it.
Exactly. Right. You're basically yes. Yes, that what you're saying. Yes, great examples. That coincide with what I'm saying. So if you're doing a move that somebody is noted to do, and you're doing it now, yeah, you got to make it your own. You're
Yep.
like that's going to be that move. It's gonna remind them of that person until you make them think of you when you
Yep.
do that move.
That's a very valid point. I think Damian Priest said as much about like him no
Yes,
longer using his version. I forget what he called it. But his version of what was basically the Crossroads, he stopped doing it because he didn't want to do moves that make you think of Cody. He wants to do moves that make you think of Damian.
right. Yeah. And so now like he's made all of his moves, all the moves that he has in dedication to Razor Ramon. Um all his moves like he's made his though.
Yeah.
Like
I
yes,
think I
I
think the
I
one thing that still stays a straight homage is the Razor's Edge, and I think he
yeah.
does that on purpose because that's the point.
Yes,
Kind of
but
like when
even with
people,
that though, even with that, I don't just think of Razor Ramon. I think of Damian Priest now,
yeah,
because he's made it his, and you just have to like if that's a move that you're gonna pick, then you gotta make it yours. You gotta do you like if you're gonna do it just authentic the way that the guy that you are uh copying, I guess, did it, then cool, that's great. Do a wonderful homage, make it look good. But if you're gonna do it and you want to put your spin on it, then be consistent and do your move. Make it look good. Make it look like, oh shit, you know?
yep. And not to get too off track here about Damian Priest, but like, we've seen big guys do choke slams, but so
Yeah.
Damian Priest decided I'm going to do a sit out choke slam and call it South of
Oh, I
Heaven, and
love it.
so it stands out. It's tied to Damian Priest because you don't see too many guys doing a choke slam variation like that.
Yeah. Yeah. True. So I agree with you. I think they did a good job of making Michin look like she got this victory, like she got um that she got into a match with somebody like Tiffany Stratton and was able to pull out the victory. They made it believable. The only thing that I can't say about Eat Defeat is I guess I don't understand what's supposed to be finishing about it. Grabbing someone's arm and then putting your feet on their face while you fall. I'm trying, I'm trying to see. Is it because she's kicking the face away when she lands on the floor? Is that what's supposed to be
I think that's it, and
the
it
damaging part of that?
my
Okay.
my issue with it is that it looks like it's just too regular of a move, because it's effectively just a chin buster.
I mean, this could be disorienting.
Yeah, but I don't know. For me, it's I guess what I'm saying is not impressive enough of a move to
Yeah.
be a finish. And if I were making any kind of recommendation, and that's assuming Meechin cares, she might be like, "Screw you, buddy. I think the Eat Defeat's awesome," and that's fine too. But I just think a more powerful finishing move would probably be better. I mean, Eat Defeat has one thing going for it, and that it doesn't care the size of the opponent, but I just don't think it looks devastating enough
Yeah.
to make me believe that Tiffany Stratton, who was otherwise fine, is now too incapacitated to kick out from it.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're regularly using DDTs as normal moves that people kick out of, Eat Defeat's not even in the same league, in my opinion.
I agree. I agree. But but ultimately, good match. And Tiffany, good sell on the moves. Um, and I really didn't have too much to complain about. The little flub there towards the end. That's about it.
It
But
was
other than
minor.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, minor. But other than that, it was a pretty good, solid match. With the winner being, as we've said,
Michin.
Michin. After that though, oh my god, DIY Jimmy Neutron over here. I don't know why. I don't know why. Because Johnny Gargano, they did a DIY promo, okay? And Johnny Gargano starts it out. But the only thing that I could honestly pay attention to was how they had his hair styled. It was literally
Oh,
like a Jimmy
yeah,
Neutron thing, like with this little at the top, like this little dollop at the
yep,
top of his head.
yep, yep.
And I'm like, you look ridiculous. You look like a baby shark. Do, 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 do. Like I was.
I think that might be part of Johnny's issue. Is like nothing in his look. I mean, he looks very generic, with the exception of maybe that dumb haircut.
Yeah,
So nothing about his look makes him stand out as a pro wrestler. He has to try and do it all with personality, which he's only just now showing. Because prior to that, his personality was as vanilla as it gets too.
yeah.
Um, at least what they've seen. Like I don't know this guy. Maybe he's hilarious outside of the ring.
He might be.
Um,
Finn Balor was.
but he doesn't look. Well, Finn kind of doesn't have too much of a different problem here. Like, yeah,
Right. That's exactly my
yeah,
point. Like I'm
yeah.
agreeing with you.
So I think the issue is that Johnny Gargano just doesn't look badass in any way, shape, or form.
No. And so while he was trying to cut this promo, honestly, all I saw was Jimmy Neutron talking about how he outsmarted the adults. Um and Tommaso Ciampa was just screaming per usual. So we got the baby man and screamy man, and they are both turned up about it. Now, listen, I am here. Welcome to the dark side, Mr. Gargano. It is a pleasure to have you here, but also we roast motherfuckers. So
Yeah.
you got to lose that Jimmy Neutron shit that you got popping off on the top of your head. You got to
Well,
stop that.
yeah. I think looks wise, like Tommaso Ciampa looks like he could be an unhinged, like crazy person. Like he practically looks like he's that homeless guy who happens to be jacked that you're terrified of, and you'll give him $1. It's like, go away, man.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true. That's true.
but Johnny Gargano looks like he should be teaching like 10th grade algebra somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's
So
there needs to be a bit of badassness added to his presentation, I think.
and actually, honestly, that's exactly what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting to see them in the ring now. Um, because there's only so much that Johnny can do with this look, right? I mean, like you can't help his fucking face. You know what I mean? Like he's doing. I think he's doing what he can with what he's got. And I'm just giving him a hard time when I talk about the Jimmy Neutron haircut. But honestly, welcome to the dark side. Like I'm serious. Like welcome. This is where you belong, Mister Gargano. And Ciampa can show you the ropes. But I expect to see some brutality in the ring from these two. They already worked pretty well together in the ring. They had nice little setups and whatnot. They did a good job bouncing moves off of each other. So now I want to see that, but now I want to see it ruthlessly. So if they're gonna pop off like that, awesome. But just to talk about this little promo, Johnny mentioned that August 2nd, 2024, in Cleveland, Ohio, that's his hometown, and he was the champion, and that was supposed to be the night of his life. But he is talking about the day that he and Tommaso Ciampa were screwed out of their tag team titles, and Tommaso picked up the sentence that or the conversation that Johnny Gargano was about to get into, with letting us know that they were both screwed out of the tag team titles and screwed out of a justified rematch for their titles. Johnny continues to say that this happened in front of his family, in front of his kids, in front of his 2-year-old son, I guess, who's not a part of his family, just separated from his family. His estranged 2-year-old son. I also want to point out, Mr. Gargano, your kid is 2 years old. I promise you, he will not remember. He didn't even know what the fuck he was doing there. Uh, with you in the
like
ring,
like one of these days when he's like 18, he'll be like, "Dad, I
you
felt
know.
bad my entire life about that time you guys sucked ass."
Yeah, I can't respect you anymore, Dad.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't see that happening.
I promise you, he's not gonna carry this with him. He was probably sitting near your wife, eating his hand, and trying to figure out why people were screaming for no reason. Uh, I don't think he was looking at the ring going, "Come on, Dad, you can do this." I don't think that was happening. Maybe he was sitting with your wife because I mean, you mentioned him outside of your family, so maybe he was there with his own wife or his own family, and he just didn't want to talk to you anymore. you know,
He's like, I'm sorry, Dad. Even at this young age, I can't be associated with such a screw job. You suck.
yeah, yeah. Maybe him and his 2-year-old son don't have a relationship like that anymore. But whatever the case, he was embarrassed apparently
Yeah.
that he
Now
lost that he lost
he's
the belts.
yeah. His kid's gonna change his last name to Shelly at this point.
Yeah, that kid's like, "Screw you, Dad." Puts a cigarette out and leaves. Um, grabs his wife. "Come on, honey, let's go." Diapers just crinkling. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why his son was separate from his family, but bless him. I hope you guys work it out. I mean, I know that you're a heel, but family is the most important part of one's life, Mr. Gargano. So reconsider and get in contact with your 2-year-old son, please. It's never too late. Give him a call if you don't have a cell phone number. Like, give him a call. If you can't get in contact with him, like, talk to his wife. I'm sure he's married. Um, just do what you got to do. Keep in contact with your kid, please. Life is short. Anyway,
The more you know.
the more you know. Boom, 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 boom. Um, but like he basically says that he knew then and there that he was gonna do whatever it took to get the titles back. In fact, he told us that, but he just didn't know what that meant yet. And I understand that. I understand that the dark side is always here, waiting for us to enter, Mr. Gargano, waiting to enter us. So I understand. Little tales from the dark side there for you guys. Just showing my age. If you know what's up, then you know. Um, so I get it. But he vowed revenge. Um, and Tommaso Ciampa was there to lead him into the Sith light. Uh, and Motor City Machine Guns, they all played a hand in this. Apparently, Johnny Gargano is like really good friends with Shelley, I think Alex Shelley. Uh, from Motor City Machine Guns. So
From the
basically,
Motor Guns was City Machines.
yeah, from the Motor Gun City machine gun shoots.
City Motors.
City Motor, pow pow pew pew. Um,
Make a fist.
yeah, that's it. Make a fist, raise your fist, just pump your fist. I don't know. Good guys. Anyway, so Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano have apparently been plotting this from the moment that Motor City Machine Guns show up. Johnny I think he is touted as the mastermind. Toward the end of their promo.
Yeah, and Tommaso's the madman.
Yeah, and I'm like, let's go, Mad
There you
Pirate
go.
Ciampa.
It would already be a better, like, less stupid sounding tag team than DIY if they were called Madman and the Mastermind and they came out like super villains.
Yeah, seriously, that would be great. Yeah. So Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa have fully embraced the dark side. Again, gentlemen, welcome. You should receive your packets in the mail. Probably by the end of the week.
And the cookie.
And the
Dark Side
cookie.
always has cookies.
Yes. Now you will also receive the dark side cookie recipe. You do not share that with anyone, and you're gonna have a full disclosure, an NDA, and all that stuff that'll be coming with you coming to you in that packet.
Faces cannot know the Dark Side cookie recipe. That's
Yeah,
forbidden.
I swear, if you guys fucking tell him, oh my god. Listen, I have not told Josh, okay? I haven't told him. Like 2 peas in a pod, he and I have not told him the cookie recipe. I have shared the cookies. I will admit it. I shared the cookies, okay? But I have not given the recipe because they will get me if I do. Just letting you guys know.
They'll revoke your heel card.
Yes. Whew. Oh god, that hurt. That hurt to even hear.
Speaking of heel things, Gargano did have one line that I appreciated. It
Lay
was
it on
something
us.
along the lines of, he respects Alex Shelley and everything the Motor City Machine Guns have done, and he's glad they got their flowers, but it's too bad it happened at their funeral.
Mic drop.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one.
Yeah, no, that was a cold piece. I'm not gonna lie. Again, I mean, you get witty comebacks. Like you get witty comebacks that you can use if you're a heel, like it's a part of the club. Um, I
Yeah,
think he came up with that one for like his initiation into
yeah,
the heel program. So when we heard that, we were like, "Holy shit, that's
yeah.
chef's
In
kiss."
in addition to the cookie recipe, heels also get access to the power called snarkasm.
Yep.
So they can be both snarky and sarcastic, something faces are not allowed to do ever.
No, you cannot do that. See, Cody Rhodes has been towing the line here. He's been, like, not towing the line, but he's been basically like tethering in between like the dark
He's right
side.
on the edge.
Yeah, he's playing too much. He keeps doing some shit, and eventually he's gonna get a cease and desist letter from the Union of the Heels. Uh, that's a little tip for you guys, little inside tip.
I think the thing for Cody is that he's tempted by that cookie recipe.
Yeah, well, he can back up. He can back up. Okay, he can make his own cookies. I'm pretty sure the face faction has some sort of cookie, some sort of cookie recipe, or like I don't know, Mars bars or some shit. Some Rice
Yeah,
Krispies might be y'all's
I think
flow.
I think theirs is like cupcakes or something.
Cupcakes, fucking cupcakes. Anyway, bah, cupcakes.
Yeah, maybe
Anyway,
even a donut. I'm not sure.
not the donut.
Yeah, the face donut.
No, not the roundy glaze ball.
The very same.
Holy shit. All right, you guys. All right, all right. So next up is the Roman Reigns promo. Um,
The Roman Reigns promo. The video package that he decided to take while he was on a romantic getaway on a boat with Paul Heyman.
yeah. So they found him at his like fucking lake house or some shit. Right before he was about to hit the lake with his dear sweet uh dear sweet wise man. Um, and I mean, he basically just came out to say what he's said several times before. And I'm not trying to be mean, but it really started out with stuff that he's already said before. Like, they had a good before this year. They had a good run. They ran everything. They were king of the world. But then he lost his title. He lost his wise man. He lost the bloodline, the entire bloodline. But most importantly, guys, he lost his Ula falafel. Um,
Not the falafel. Is that like a recipe that I don't even like? Apparently, that's only if you're in the bloodline.
yeah, he lost his falafel waffle, and that's most importantly, which I found. I'm like, well, he's still technically a heel, so yeah, all right. Um, because I mean, he hasn't apologized really to to anyone about anything. He's kind of, still been, but I'm Roman Reigns, so it makes sense for him to say that. Most importantly, he lost his Ulafala. Um,
And the important takeaway, there's two things that he wanted to make sure got spoken of in exhaustion. One, that January 6th is Netflix, and two,
yeah,
he's challenged Solo to tribal combat.
yeah, that was the next thing I was about to say.
Oh,
But
sorry.
apparently, somebody thought I was going to slow.
My bad.
I'm not gonna say no names, Josh. I'm just saying
I didn't
somebody,
mean. Look, I'm
somebody
sorry.
over
I
here.
didn't mean to take the heel cookies. My bad.
I'm just saying table flip. But no, he's right. Netflix, January 6th. It's Netflix, and it's what it's all about, baby. For him though, it's about tribal combat. Um, like the OTC bloodline won, and then the new bloodline won. So now Roman wants the tribes to stay in the back, let them spectate, and he wants tribal chief versus tribal chief.
Man, that's going to be difficult for Jacob Fatu. Like, I feel like if he's more than 10 feet away from Solo, he's upsetty spaghetti.
We'll still hear him. We'll hear him from the
Yeah,
back.
from the back. I love you, Solo.
Solo! Like he'll be in the back losing his shit. So it's all good. But yeah, he wants to have a tribal chief versus tribal chief. For tribal chief combat or some shit. Uh, so he gets Ula Fala back. So,
Yep.
And the whole time, like Paul Heyman is back there, praying to his tribal chief.
Yeah, I understand him wanting that Ula Fala back. I mean, it's got peppers on it, and your food. I mean, you can't spice it up in any kind of way if you're not the tribal chief.
Yeah, he wants his red pepper necklace. God dang it! You give it to him.
It's true. He wants it back. After that, we come to the backstage area where Santos Escobar, always the snappy dresser. I mean, no sarcasm here. Santos always dressing badass in them suits.
Yeah.
Is talking to Nick Aldis, and it's in reference to the shakeup that they keep talking about that I guess is coming January 6th, where they're going to shake up the SmackDown and Raw rosters a bit. And he says, people are attacking people backstage here. It's not anything Legato is doing. We're not doing that. But the people that are apparently, the inmates are running the asylum over here. So what kind of, I think, what did he say, bingo game are you running back here, Nick Aldis? Maybe Legado del Fantasma would do better and get more respect on Monday Night Raw. Ooh.
The answer is probably. Like,
And Nick took that threat about how you think he would. He's like, oh, shucks, I guess, the trash is taking itself out.
No, wait. Please, don't go.
Anything but that.
No, my heart, please.
Yeah, Aldis was shook. Nah, he wasn't.
He was so unshooketh.
He got sturdy. I don't know what happened there.
He did. Speaking on unshooketh though, second match of the night, Carmelo Hayes, he had a surprise match. He did not know who his competitor was going to be, and he didn't give a fuck. He was like, whatever, anybody can get this smoke. He was ready to go anyway.
Yeah, he was like, whatever, it doesn't matter who it is, light work.
Light work, and he was right that it was light work, just not who the light work would be. Because his opponent was a returning Braun Strowman.
Now, if you asked 100 people looking at this match, Carmelo Hayes versus Braun Strowman, who's winning?
Come on, quit playing.
That's my point.
Yeah.
So this match went approximately how anybody looking at it on its face would think it went.
Yeah, if you're thinking, I bet this was a squash match, there you go. Nailed it. You don't have to go any further. Yeah, no, it was a squash match.
Yep.
I mean, of the utmost severity. I
think Carmelo countered like one move and got like two things of offense before Strowman decided he's had enough. He's tired of playing with this appetizer. He's ready to go backstage and get his whole meal on.
Yeah.
So yeah, Braun Strowman pretty much ends up hitting the running power slam pretty shortly into this match and destroys Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you. I understand Braun Strowman needing to make a big impact, right? He just had that Monster Among Monsters match, and he didn't. I mean, he won, but only kind of because Seth Rollins curb stomped Big Bronson Reed.
Right.
But I'm not sure how I feel about whatever they're trying to tell me about Carmelo Hayes. He seems to be picking big fights, although admittedly he didn't choose his opponent here. Like, he picks fights with Cody Rhodes. But they pitched him as the first round draft pick. He was a very dominant star in NXT, But since he's been on the main roster, it's not that he hasn't been utilized, but he can't seem to win anything clean at all. Like I'm sitting here going, is he him? Like he says he's him, but I don't think he's the guy. I don't think they think he's the guy because they keep basically turning him into a rat and a jobber. So how do you feel about how Carmelo Hayes has been treated on his main roster run?
To be perfectly honest, I don't think he should have ever been given this I am him. Like, yeah, unless they were going to say, yes, you are him, the one who flubs many matches, or the one who does not win many matches, or the one who had the best thing about him separated from him when he came to the main roster. Um, and Carmelo Hayes is more mouth than he is. I don't want to say skill, but he doesn't have the draw, the pull, or the allure that I think WWE thought he had. And I'm not really sure at what point they realized that my man just didn't have it. That he is just maybe he's like stage fright or something or what. But if you could go back to Carmelo Hayes in NXT versus Carmelo Hayes in WWE, it's a different person. It's a
Yeah.
completely different character. It's a completely different like vibe. I'm not even sure what's happening here. Uh in NXT, I honestly feel like they brought him from NXT, but before he could get into the ring, they did some kind of weird like surgery or something to him to change the person that we had into whoever the fuck this is, because it doesn't even feel like the same person. Like
Yeah.
he was so he
Dominant.
was yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and now he's not even a dominant heel. Like when I say
No.
dominant heel, I mean it's like somebody who could kick ass if they wanted to, but occasionally resorts like kind of MJF style
Yeah.
or classic Ric Flair. Like
Yeah.
Ric Flair could go, he'd still
Yeah.
poke you in the eye, but he could go. He's coming across as a rat heel, kind of
Yeah.
like Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, and in a particular climate that still leans heavily on a lot of stereotypes, and also a corporation or a company that has been looked at because of its lack of strong dominant male black wrestlers. This is kind of confusing because
Oh, yeah, that's a
they
good point.
basically took him out of this character of being a strong, powerful black wrestler to being a little rat shit heel that can't win at all. Even with cheating, he just can't win. And he seems to be all mouth. Like he is literally just roll with me here. But they have taken him and made him a black sitcom stereotype that talks all kinds of shit about how they're going to do this and do that, but never does. They always constantly get punked by other people. That's what they made him, and I'm not really sure why. Why? So
Yeah,
why would you bring him from NXT for that?
yeah,
If that's the character that you wanted, I'm sure you could have done that with Cedric or any other black wrestler that you have that's already on the main roster that we never see. You could have done that to Apollo Crews, because no matter how big and buff he is, he seems to be just that dude who gets his black ass beaten. I mean, I'm just being real. So
yeah.
what the fuck we doing, WWE? Why bring Carmelo Hayes to WWE for this bullshit?
Yeah, I hadn't really considered it from a racial angle before this point, but I was thinking more like just they're undermining the character. Like he talks the talk, but previously he could walk the walk to go with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now he doesn't even do that. And I'm wondering, is this like a punishment? Because like he did have like some dangerous flubs, particularly back when he was first facing like Austin Theory. and they
Yeah.
wanted to do like a thing there. I think they wanted to do probably a feud between those two, but after like the epic fail of what was it? I think it was like a springboard Spanish fly where both men like basically landed on their heads, and so you've got what I'm seeing in the ring is that Carmelo Hayes isn't as good as he says he is, like with flubs
Yup.
like that. And then you
Yep.
also have the fact that his character is coming across that way. And then there's a third element where I'm thinking like, is the back office punishing you for, performing badly and threatening, like other superstars with bad in-ring work? So, I mean, I'm just wondering what's going on with Carmelo Hayes because for a guy who was the first round draft pick who has now been in the ring with your champion
Yeah.
twice,
Yep.
you're burying this dude. Like
Yeah.
he can't even catch a win over, and this is no ding on Andrade, but this is a mid card guy. He doesn't even get wins cleanly over on Andrade. He still has to kind of cheat his way there.
Yeah.
Um,
You're not wrong.
and he's been
Um,
absolutely decimated by LA Knight every time he's even looked at him.
every single time.
So I'm like, what is the trajectory for Carmelo Hayes then? Because this was a guy who
I'm
was
not
like
sure,
one of your
but
top
if you're
NXT dudes.
but if you're talking about punishing a wrestler because they've injured or could have possibly injured one of your superstars, and I don't understand what the fuck Shinsuke Nakamura is doing back with a belt, no less. If that was the route that they were going. Sure, maybe Shinsuke got removed and punished because, like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Maybe he had to go back and rethink some things, but his level of punishment was never as bad as what's happening here with Carmelo Hayes, who just, no matter what he does, he just keeps cheating and then losing regardless. Um, I just don't understand the point of doing this or bringing this
Yeah,
character from NXT to do that. That makes me very nervous to know what you guys are planning to do with Trick. If he comes to
right.
the main
Yeah,
roster,
or
you guys about to make him like fuck? You gonna put him in a dress or some shit? Like, what are we
or what
doing?
about Obafemi?
Yeah, like what exactly are we doing with these men? Um, it's very concerning, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I mean, I can understand that if you're viewing it through a lens of like their mistreatment of men of color. I'm also just wondering if it's just like how are you handling Carmelo specifically,
yeah,
like because he's getting buried here. I mean, admittedly, anybody at any time could be put in a match with Braun Strowman and lose, right? So it's not
right.
like he lost to some jobber. I mean, Strowman is a monster for a reason. It would have been akin to if they were ever using him, sticking Carmelo Hayes into a match with Omos.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
but
Monster's still there? Is he still there?
I believe so. I haven't heard anything different. They just don't ever use him for anything. And that might feed into what you were saying there too. It's another like uh, wrestler of color that is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
They're not utilizing him for anything. It seems. Uh, but with Carmelo, I'm just getting like this extremely mixed message. Like there's what you've told me, which is that he was your first round SmackDown pick, and he's a guy that you're willing to stick Cody Rhodes in the ring with twice now. But
Yeah.
he's also a guy who can't get a clean win, and more or less has lost. Like he's on a hella losing streak, or so it seems. And so I'm wondering where we're going with that. And
Yeah.
I'm another way to look at it too is like, how are you treating the guys coming up from NXT? You know, I mean, I guess you could say not bad if we look at Tommaso Ciampa and DIY, but let's look at like Pretty Deadly, who have basically been relegated to 5-second spots where they talk about their musical.
Yeah.
I would have thought under Triple H's watch, the NXT people would get a little bit better treatment. Is he overly worried that if he treats the NXT folks too good, then the commentary will be like, well, of course he does, because that's Triple H's love child is NXT, so yeah, they're all going to get pushed to the moon. I mean, I guess you can't win for losing on that one, But I really am kind of shocked that Carmelo Hayes, who was like such a big deal, got buried. And I suppose as another counter example, you could look at Braun Breaker, who is kicking the shit out of everything, and he's an NXT call up. I don't know. I guess I'm just confused that Carmelo Hayes, was so dominant in NXT and pitched as like, I mean, he was actually the first round draft pick to SmackDown, and all he's done is basically get his ass whooped the entire time.
Not
Like
wrong.
I'm super not seeing, all other possible theories aside, just looking at the story arc, this guy who comes out and says he's him and runs his mouth incessantly can't back up jack shit, and
Yeah.
it's a bad look.
Yep. I agree.
But
So yeah, I don't know what the fuck they're doing.
yeah, but suffice it to say, Braun Strowman wins the squash match.
Yeah.
Then we move backstage where Byron Saxton is having an interview with LA Knight.
There were a lot of like promos and talking in this particular episode.
There were. He
That's
also
go ahead.
he goes on to ask the megastar, is he concerned about the tribal chief? Long story short, he's not. He doesn't give a crap about. And I love that he called it the Oofalafa. Like, he was very deliberate in calling it the wrong name to make fun of it. It was fantastic. He says that little red necklace does nothing for him. He has no love lost for Roman or Solo. The whole family could go to hell. The only one that's worth 2 squirts of piss, according to him, is Jey Uso, and he throws in a yeet, and
Yeet.
everybody's like, yeet, and he's like, yeah, and everyone's like, yeah. So the yeet, yeah, is now a thing.
Yep.
And he says the only part that mattered was that the bloodline inserted themselves into his business, which is that U.S. championship. And so now his fist is going to get in the way of Solo's face, and his foot's going to get in the way of Solo's fat ass. And he doesn't care, whether he's got his little oofalafa or not. He'll end up remembering whose game this is, with everybody saying
L.A. Knight.
Night. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was a fun promo. I like that LA Knight's willing to talk to Byron Saxton, and not just tell him to shut up and go away.
True. Although I do feel like he should be like, shut up, and then continue with his talking. But just tell him shut up anyway. Just tell him shut up.
Yeah, just tell him to shut up just for the sake of. Nah,
it's fine. He likes it.
Yeah. Then we see from there we continue backstage where Braun Strowman is walking around backstage after his match, and apparently Pretty Deadly like get their panties in a wad upon seeing the monster among men, and they're like, oh my god, we're looking for a monster for our musical, and they pitch the idea at him, and he looks like he's contemplating it for a second, but then he slaps the script back on one of them's chest and keeps walking.
Yeah.
And then you, of course, then follow that up with A-Town Down. Another couple of guys that I feel are underutilized as hell here. But they invited Strowman to be on the Grayson Waller Effect next week. And he thought that over, and he says, I'll see you guys there. And then they're like, oh my god, scooped, take that, Byron Saxton.
Yeah. So basically means that they're going to give Braun Strowman a 2-on-1 match or something where he destroys both of them.
Both of them at the same time, yep.
So he's just going down the list. They're like, pick all the people that we feel should be punished. Austin Theory needs it. I don't know what Austin Theory did.
Does he?
I honestly don't know what Austin Theory has done other than be a guy that Vince McMahon picked, and like he was like one of the last storylines that Vince McMahon was even a part of before all the bullshit hit the fan.
And so now
that's all I can think of.
To some extent, he's punished for that fact. Like he had that, like he chose that.
Yeah, I agree. So he, I mean, honestly, I don't know any other thing that he has done. Other than that,
as near as I know, the dude works hard, stays in good shape, performs excellently in the ring. So, fuck that guy. You can stack him right next to Carmelo Hayes. Screw them both. But I don't know. Hopefully they'll get like their time to shine.
Hopefully.
And same with Pretty Deadly. I mean, I don't know. I thought everybody was thrilled when they came over, and I thought we could really see some cool stuff because it's not like they were only ever a joke. They put on good matches too. Apparently, they have been relegated to just being, a few moments of a spot for comedic effect. I don't know. Maybe one or both of them is injured, and I just don't know about it.
Yeah.
But they are completely being wasted. I mean, the last time we saw them in the ring, it was basically to let Tommaso Ciampa beat both of them by himself.
Yep. Which has to feel great for any wrestler.
Oh yeah, yeah. Especially since these guys were amongst the most dominant
Yeah.
tag champs in NXT.
They
Apparently,
gotta
they're
feel like a
nothing but
million
jobbers
bucks.
over here.
They gotta feel like $1,000,000. They do. They gotta be like, we finally hit it.
Yeah,
Yes.
it
We're
makes
in
me
big
wonder
time,
if it's
guys.
some kind of like power trip ego check. Like, oh, you thought you were big shit in NXT, but now you on the main roster, son. Get ready to eat all this shit. Yum, yum, yum. Love it.
Seriously, yeah. You ain't wrong. And it's
It's sad to see,
disheartening.
though.
Disheartening to
Yeah.
see. Yeah.
Meanwhile, somebody who didn't even bother with NXT, like the Motor City Machine Guns, will come on in and they like rocket to the top, and I'm like, okay,
Just walk in and
um,
get some belts. Yeah.
you know,
And I understand. I understand that they have a very long, illustrious career outside of WWE. Well, then that outside of WWE can make a fucking belt for them and give it to them. I don't understand why they came into WWE and just got them belts. That's all I'm saying. I got
well,
nothing against them. I just
I
think it
mean,
was a real bad, stupid storyline.
between Motor City Machine Guns getting gold put on them immediately for having succeeded outside of the company, and Cody Rhodes apparently not being taken seriously until he succeeded outside of the company. I mean, what message are you like overtly sending to people that are homegrown and they're like, I've been loyal to WWE from the start? Like you're essentially telling them, yeah, but if you really want to succeed, go elsewhere, run WWE into the ground, and then we'll hire you and you'll be able to be injured for most of the first year that you're here, CM Punk.
I'm about to
I
say
mean,
this feels
well, because he's a good
very
example of that
specific.
too. I mean, he left
Yeah.
WWE, ran them into the ground for 10 years. None of that shit is untrue, by the way. I mean, I know
Yeah.
it was part of Seth Rollins' promo, but that doesn't mean it's inaccurate. And then he comes back and he's given a hero's welcome. It seems
Yeah.
like the WWE doesn't appreciate the people that come up with them. They appreciate the people that go outside, make success at their expense, and then they're like, okay, now we'll hire you, give you a fat paycheck and all the screen time and accolades you want. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, but if I came up through the Performance Center, through NXT and all that, you're just going to bury the shit out of whatever little success I carved out in NXT to make some kind of ego checking point, I guess.
Yeah. Ah.
It's a bad look. That's all I'm saying.
It's a very bad look. Yeah. You're not wrong about that.
But that brings us to the third match of the night, Solo Sikoa with the Bloodline versus LA Knight.
Yeah.
And this was actually a really solid match here too.
Mhm.
Sikoa looked good, especially there was a point where he did the spinning solo. It wasn't as spinny as it normally would, but it was a heck of an uranagi to LA Knight on the announce table. That was real nice. He also decked him with some nice Samoan drops. But ultimately, even though LA Knight tries to mitigate the bloodline that are outside at the ring, we end up with it eventually not going his way. Eventually, the bloodline decides, they're sick of LA Knight shit, and they overtly interfere in the match, causing the DQ.
Yeah.
And then they pretty much roll LA Knight into the ring where he gets the thumb of doom,
Not the thumb.
the very same, and
No.
kind of wrecked by the entirety of the bloodline that's not currently out of action because of the events of Survivor Series until out comes Andrade El Idolo, Andrade, and Apollo Crews, who apparently took exception to the fact that the only reason he was seen on TV the week before was to get super kicked going through
Oh,
security
that's
by
why
Jacob
that's
Fatu.
right. That's right.
Yeah, him and Andrade got part of that beatdown spot, so now they're upsetty spaghetti about it. And you know what? Them being upset about it didn't amount to anything because the Bloodline ended up kicking their ass when they rushed the ring, and Sikoa hits both of them with Samoan spikes too. So apparently, that Thumb of Doom is just the deadliest thing going.
Yeah.
But maybe they're leading that into something where Solo and the Bloodline are feuding against LA Knight, Andrade, and Apollo Crews. And I'm like, I don't know how great that would go because it's not like Andrade and LA Knight are the best of friends. Andrade still really holds it against him that he did that fist bump instead of a handshake, you disrespectful bastard.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. I guess they're trying to give him something to do. And I think they're trying like hell to get some sort of connection to LA Knight and the Bloodline. Like I feel like they want that
Yeah.
to help pull LA Knight even further up. Like he's dropped the mid card title. Now they're trying to position him to look like a guy going after the big title. Although I'm not sure I see the route through the Bloodline. Other than the fact that it's top guys versus top guys, or that would pull LA Knight out of the mid card and up, because it's Cody Rhodes who has the belt right now. You know what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
would need
Yeah.
heat
Yeah.
with Cody. But maybe they'll get there somehow. Maybe there'll be an instance where Solo is interfering with Cody, but he's pissed off LA Knight enough that LA Knight gets involved, and Cody's like, "Get the hell up out of my business," and LA Knight is like, "This is my business." I don't know. We'll see. But I feel like this is all in the service to pull LA Knight up into the main event picture, the top of the card.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
I am too. I even like that Shinsuke just came up and was like, "I'll take that for you." Just takes that, takes that belt.
I'll take the belt, thanks.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I got this. So,
And then following that match, we had a small vignette with the Machine City Motor Guns.
more talky words.
More talky words where Alex Shelley more or less goes on to say, look, you threw away 80 bajillion years of our friendship gone like that, but we see how it is and we came here for competition, so bring it. And that was that.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then
like he basically says you threw away 10 billion years of friendship, but that's okay. I get it. Like, huh?
Yeah. And it's
you
like,
do?
if
You're
that's how
saying you would have done that? Is that what you're saying?
if that's how you want it, that's how we gonna have it.
Yeah.
But it was sufficient enough. I mean, it wasn't a long piece. It was just
No.
like, hey, we see what you did there. Fuck you, and we'll be back to kick your asses for our belts.
Yeah.
That brings us to the fourth and final match of the night, the main event: Bayley versus Chelsea Green with Piper Niven in a semifinal round match in the WWE Women's United States Championship Tournament. And if you would like, let me know your thoughts on this match, because it's the ladies.
It is the ladies, and honestly, I thought that it. Well, first of all, not gonna lie, I am gonna be team Chelsea. I don't know what it is. The girl's got spunk.
She's been putting in that work.
She's got moxie. I'm just basically making a joke because she's technically a heel, and so I'm gonna root for the heels. But honestly, Chelsea's an amazing female wrestler. And she has been for quite some time. I think she basically waters down what she can do in WWE. Um, to
Yeah.
meet other female wrestlers at their level.
Yeah, after seeing some of the stuff she's done in Lucha Underground, she is definitely better than what's being portrayed here.
Yeah, yeah. So she's definitely pulling her punches, so to speak, in the WWE environment. Um, with that being said, you guys know that even though I am a heel, I do love me some Bailey. She's also had a few moments, couple of months, years or so over here on the dark side, and she's welcome anytime she wants to come back. But she's not a very believable heel, Bailey. She's too nice. She's got the sweet chipmunk cheeks. She's too, you know what I mean? Like she's got the soft puppy dog eyes.
I don't
Like
know.
she
She's been rocking that haircut that screams punk girl though.
Yeah, but I mean, gentle puppy girl, punk girl. Like she's
Puppy punk? Oh
puppy
no.
punk. Oh no, adorbs. Anyway,
I'm
let me
not gonna make it.
let me pull myself together. Um, but no, honestly, Bailey she's a great female competitor as well. So I was expecting to see a damn good match, and a damn good match is what I got. Piper Niven did insert herself into this match once or twice or so, and what do you expect? They're heels.
Yeah. I do
Uh,
appreciate how Bailey set the tone right out the gate, going for a belly to belly and getting a 2 count. And Chelsea was like, "Oh shit, I'm in a match for
yeah,
real."
yeah. Chelsea came out there like, yes, whoa, and then and then she got that Bailey to belly, and she was like, "What? Oh, hell no! I got okay. Let me just fucking sober right the fuck up. Hold on." Yeah, she even stood up like, "Brr." And that's like, so Chelsea has this very highly amusing thing that she does whenever she takes a hit. If she's still standing, she does this thing
She
where
turns
she looks
into a bobblehead.
stumbled, like she stumbles and she's like just absolutely befuddled, like brr, you know, like basically she is the live action version of a cartoon character with birds flying around their heads.
Yes.
That's basically what she does, and she does it great. She even have her arms out in front of her, like brr, it's
Like, where am I? What was happening? Why
it's
does my head hurt?
yes, it's goofy and it's ridiculous, and she even uses it to basically get herself into the next move with her opponent. Like there were several times where I would see her lean into an arm drag or something that Bailey was gonna give her, but basically just giving her the appendage that she's about to flip her with. Like she's like, here you go, that's pretty much it. But this match was fun. It was good. And I actually enjoyed the audience giving Chelsea some cheers. They were cheering for Chelsea. Not that they were booing Bailey because they were not. Um, they were not, they were just letting Bailey know that, first of all, I think the audience already knew, right, that Chelsea Green was going to win this match, much like the first match with Michin and Tiffany.
Yeah, because Bailey is clearly a heavyweight. The women's heavyweight. She's a top card performer. So yeah,
Right.
it's kind of telegraphed that the mid carder is going to win in the mid card tournament.
Yeah, so nobody was being like booey to Bailey. They still cheered for Bailey, but they did give Chelsea a lot of encouragement in the ring because I think those that look, if you love wrestling enough to go to one of the events, then you know what to expect in a match like this. Chances are, again, that Chelsea's gonna win. So and those people that did know, they were cheering for her, and it was very nice. Um, Again, what I was looking for was did the finisher, did the ending that they gave us, did that look believable? Did it look as if Chelsea Green really pulled out this victory? And it did. If I remember correctly, it was the move that she did. Um, she did like she did an unprettier, didn't she, at some point? But she did it from the top rope.
No, not yet. That's in the main event match Saturday night.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
God! Ah!
yeah. I mean, this was her standard unprettier in this match.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, that's right. You're right. She gave her the unprettier. The thing that I did note I did notice is that Bailey did she sold the unprettier the way that she would sell, or the way that a lot of other wrestlers sell it, where they bend at the knee, so like they fall on their knees, which kind of makes the unprettier look like it doesn't do anything, because there is no connecting. There's no like I think the unprettier looks gross in the sense that it looks like they're literally like restraining someone and slamming their face into the mat, uh whilst holding their arms up. So like there's really nothing you can do but get this mat to the face. Um
Yeah.
but whenever it was done to Bailey, she, like, instead of just landing flat, though, like Shinsuke, whenever he was getting when he was getting the, oh god, the move that Cody was giving him. It wasn't the Cody cutter. Oh, actually it might have been. Um yeah, I think it was. Uh
Mhm.
Instead of falling flat, he would bend at the knee, which just looked bad.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And looked pretty unsafe. And in this case, I feel like Bailey, she bent at the knee here, and it didn't make the unprettier look like it connected. It just it looked like she landed on her knees, and then that was that. And even the camera, because I think they gave us another angle at that point when they saw that the knees were bent. They gave us another angle of Chelsea, just like like almost a straight on of Chelsea, but the side view of Bailey. So we couldn't see actually where the head connected. It was only like a split second that we could. And in that split second, there was no head connection. I mean, that was the only flub there, but it's kind of a big one for me because that's the finisher.
yeah, yeah.
That is the means by which you lose the match. And I just don't feel like it was a move that connected to actually cause you to lose the match. But I have to go with it because I already know that you're going to lose the match. Um, but other than that, it was a pretty good match. Bailey, as much as I love Bailey, I've just noted several times in the recent past where she has somewhat flubbed a move or made a move look uncomfortable in some degree.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that this is just like because I mean I know she's trying so hard to get these other women over. Like she is fully dedicated to getting these other female wrestlers over. I can see it in her performance. I can see it in the kitten mittens by which she handles a lot of these women. Um, that she's not out there to actually end anyone's career or hurt anyone in any way. She wants these women to succeed. So I see that her intentions are admirable, but I think she needs to be a little bit careful with trying to put someone over so much that you end up injuring yourself or end up accidentally injuring the person that you're trying to put over.
No, that's a fair and valid criticism.
Yeah.
I
But
agree.
that's
By
my
the way,
opinion of the match. Yeah.
I would like to add on a positive note. There
Mhm.
was like the production of the last segment of this. Outside of that, right? Was pretty good because there were a lot of homages to different like call outs, so to speak. I don't think they were trying to necessarily in some cases be deliberate with it, but like there was a point where Green's doing the Vader bomb, which is an homage to her partner Piper, whose use of the Vader bomb is an homage to Big Van Vader.
Yeah.
And then because it was like bombs that were being thrown as we entered into the end of this match, like Bailey connecting with the sunset flip into the turnbuckle with Chelsea and then going for the Bailey to belly. There was another part where Green hits radio silence, which is Matt Cardona's move, the Rough Rider, for people who knew him more as Zack Ryder than Matt Cardona.
Who?
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm
Thank you.
kidding.
But then Bailey responded straight up with a zigzag, which is an homage to Dolph Ziggler. So, I mean, between that and the fact that you also have Green, who is using the unpretty her, which is, Christian Cage's move, it was like, this was like the last segments of this was, and I have to think intentionally, an homage to guys who for the most part, were known as mid-carders for this U.S. title belt. I thought that was kind of brilliant because
Yeah,
it's
I
something
agree.
that not everybody might see. Um, and they did it anyway, and hope that you can appreciate this kind of shout out to the mid card.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool. Um, I see what you did there, is what I'm saying. Um, and ultimately, you have Chelsea Green connecting with a big running knee strike after Bailey had been thrown out over the barricade. And so she runs in and barely makes it at the 9 count, catches a knee strike, and then Green immediately connects with the Unprettier to pick up the win.
Yeah.
And it was an impressive victory. I mean, even if we can sit here and say we know that the mid carders are going to win because this is for the mid card belt,
Right.
they're giving us decent matches and making it look good. Like it, and this was an interesting and well produced way to have Chelsea Green get a win over Bailey,
Yeah.
um, and make it look convincing. Like that we knew where we were trying to go, and I think everybody kind of could see it from space. But that doesn't mean we got to make it look bad to get there. They still wanted to sell the idea that this is how it could happen, and I think they did a good job.
I do.
And so this was a really good match between the two of them, save for what you were pointing out about Bailey, kind of putting her knees down and not selling the Unprettier perhaps correctly. I still think Chelsea Green's version of the Unprettier is fantastic, though. The fact that she leaps out into a sit out with it is far more prejudicial than what the originator of the move actually does.
Yeah. In agreement.
And so, moving on from there, we are informed that Bianca Belair and Naomi will put their WWE Women's Tag Team titles on the line against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae, which I
Yeah.
guess means that Nick Aldis was able to, in fact, walk 5 feet and ask Triple H because they were able to put this together by the end of the night. Um, And then we see in the post match or in the backstage, we've got Nia Jax and Candice LeRae, I guess, comforting Tiffany Stratton on her loss. I think Nia Jax said something like, maybe singles competition isn't for you. And then and Candice LeRae is like, we're not going to hold it against you too bad. I think I'm paraphrasing. We're not going to hold it against you too bad that you didn't bring championship gold to the crew.
Yeah.
And so it was like all this passive aggressive mean girl shit to Tiffany.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, man, it's going to be so satisfying when Tiffany cashes that in on Nia. It's going to be so good.
Yeah, she better.
Well, and what comes next, I think I'll leave to you because you are the heel on this show, and it involves the current new heeliest of heels,
Um.
one Shinsuke Nakamura.
Okay. I thought you were talking about the Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens segment, and I was about to go on a tangent about the hero of that story, Kevin Owens. But we'll get to that in a
We'll
second.
get to that. Yeah. Shinsuke needs his moment.
Shinsuke in Grand Heel faction cut himself a promo where he spoke in not just Japanese but threatening Japanese. Like it's different. It's got an edge to it. Where he basically says that a shift has taken place. No longer will the feeble, weak-minded be praised as victors. The weakness hidden behind false confidence will be dragged into the light for all to see. My man's like prophesying, like he's on a soapbox preaching a message. You know what I mean? One by one, they will fall before my feet, broken, humiliated, and forgotten. Like, hey, ¿qué? LA Knight, who? ¿Cómo? Right?
Yeah.
LA Knight was just the beginning. He held something he never deserved, something he should have never touched, and now he claws for what he cannot have, what is no longer his, what never truly was. I am imminent. I am inevitable. I was like, mic drop. Talk your
man.
shit.
Shinsuke Nakamura is Thanos.
He is Thanos. My man about to snap and make everybody just a
Yep, he's going to come out with the new U.S. title. It's going to have all the different Infinity Stones around the outside. And
Yes.
he's like, "You went for an Infinity Gauntlet. I got this Infinity Belt. It's
Yes.
Infinity because I'm gonna be the U.S. champ for Infinity."
So yeah, it was a really good short and sweet promo. And yes, it was a lot like his old promos, except there was an edgier vibe to it.
There
And
there was a credibility to it because he
and a
showed up, whooped
credibility.
LA Knight's ass, and became the
That's
U.S.
true.
champ.
That's true. Um so right now Shinsuke Nakamura is sitting in a very pretty nice place. And I think it's very smart for the WWE to limit his interaction right now. I think it's good that he came out, did his thing. He's had about 2 matches. He has the belt. He Motor City Machine Gunned us. Showed up, got a belt after like his second match, and now the only other time we saw him was when Solo was real mad about Survivor Series and just came into the ring and started beating people up with
Yeah,
what was it, Tonga? Is it Tonga Loa that he was with, and Jacob
uh,
Fatu? Or was it
Tamatonga, Tamatonga,
Tamatonga?
Tongaloa, I believe, is out injured as well. So like
Okay.
him and Big
Where he
Bronson
got
Reed
injured
are,
from?
I would assume, CM Punk destroying him with a toolbox.
Oh, it was the toolbox. Yeah, okay. Yeah, good job, CM Punk. Good job. I don't often congratulate you, but my man, good job. Good job. CM Punk. Good job. Uh yeah, so I mean I think it's real smart.
One flower.
Yes, I think it's real smart with how they are booking Shinsuke Nakamura right now. I kind of think that it's good to have him as the bridal threat, the inevitability that is just waiting in the darkness. And the second you're comfortable and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go for this, he comes out
Yeah.
of nowhere and he's like, are you sure about that? And just ruins some shit. So I think so far they're doing a pretty good job with Shinsuke. I am excited to see more. And that's
Yeah.
my take on that.
I agree with you. He came back. We've praised the fact that this was a repackage that was more than just name only.
Yep.
And yeah, I think he's established some kind of mystique with this character. This dark samurai. And I agree with you. Less is more. Because it needs to stay a bit mysterious.
Yes. Yeah. Same thing with
So
the Wide Six. I like the way they're booking them too.
yep. So I'm on board for it. I think he's sitting in a good spot, and relatively quickly he's shot right back, into a prominent position in the WWE. Well done,
Mhm.
well booked, well produced, all of that. Like I'm saying to Shinsuke, well done, but like everybody who was involved in getting there. I mean, this is fantastic because Shinsuke was off TV for a while, which is
Yep.
I think they do that sometimes to keep, pull somebody out of the public's eye as much. I mean, I think he was probably working dark shows, but, it did give him a chance to do a comeback as a whole different situation. And they made it different enough, right? As opposed to like, Asuka disappeared into Japan for a while, came back a new, darker, meaner Asuka. And really the only thing that had changed was she added like one move into her combo chain
Yeah.
that she does. And so, if you're telling me this is the newer, more improved and darker, more, evil kind of Shinsuke, then I need to see that like throughout the character. It can't just be, because Michael Cole or Corey Graves is saying it a lot. I have to see it.
Yeah.
And I think they've done a good job with that with Shinsuke. So I agree with you.
Yay.
Now, you were fixing to tell us about the real hero in this Cody Rhodes Kevin Owens saga.
Well, so we had Michael Cole who came out to the ring, and he was going to be Shivani for the night. Um, he welcomes the undisputed WWE champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And then the music, adrenaline in my show. Look at my mustachio. That's on cuts in. He cut.
Something, Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, something. Cody Rhodes, right? He comes out. And then he makes the announcement. Michael Cole makes the announcement for Kevin Owens, and nothing. So
Crickets.
crickets. And so he says his name again because maybe he's thinking Kevin is like flushing the toilet right now. He didn't hear his name. Um, maybe he was slamming the refrigerator shut, so he didn't hear that. He was getting himself a tasty snack. I don't know, tasty beverage. I'm not sure. Maybe he was eating something crunchy, but he said it again just in case, and still nothing. So then Cody Rhodes, he's like, okay, Kevin Owens is not here, but this wonderful crowd here is. So I'm such a prick. So he says, in his best Sylvester the Cat impersonation, that he's here right here and now. And yeah, I said it. I'm a heel, guys. Come on. And he they're gonna go ahead and conduct the interview right here, right now. And then I think Cole asked, like, so we don't have to go out to the car to do this, do we? And it's like, well, motherfucker, you don't have to go out to the car. Your joke's not even funny. You're in the ring. You called them to the ring. So you
And
know you don't
besides,
have to go out to your stupid car.
Cody Rhodes has a bus. I mean, even if he took you out there, it'd be more
That's right.
comfortable.
Yeah. Kevin has his rental. Remember that you were in, that he asked you to kindly leave? By the way, what you scared of? Because he had you in his car by himself, Michael Cole. So why are you acting all strange right now? Why are you acting all out of pocket and shit about Kevin Owens beating you up or something? Like, he ain't touched you. He asked you to leave his car. That's it. See, I'm telling you guys, the push to make Kevin Owens the bad guy here is incorrect. So,
Yeah, I mean,
yes,
historically, Michael Cole has taken far worse from the likes of The Rock and Brock Lesnar. I mean, he's eaten rock bottoms, he's eaten F5s. I'm trying to think, he might have been around long enough to have gotten Stone Cold Stunnered. So, yeah,
So,
methinks he doth protest too much.
right, you've been over dramatic right now, and quite frankly, you appear to be bitch like Mr. Cole. So anyway, bitch made Cole is afraid that he's gonna have to go out to a car for some reason, and Cody's like, no, be at peace, my good man. You will not be accosted by a vehicle. Um, and so Michael starts to kick things off about the stuff that's happening on social media. And he said he was talking about like a gift or something that Triple H had given to Cody. And it was
Oh
gonna
my
be something.
God. Did Triple H propose finally to Cody?
Oh my god. No, he's waiting on Tommaso. Um what are you talking about? He likes him small. Um so he likes the tiny hands, okay?
Oh, no.
So he has something that he's going to share with Cody for Saturday night main event. And Michael was asking him to tell the audience more about it, what the gift is. But then Kevin Owens finally washed his hands and dried and whatnot, finished his chips, threw the bag away because he's also very courteous and cleans up after himself. He finally comes in and like it looks like he's in his car again, and basically he's like, all right, who cares? Like, who cares what the little golden boy has up his sleeve for Saturday night's main event? And he basically calls out Michael, about saying that he was an unbiased journalist. And he asked him to prove it. And to ask Cody the real question. And that is, how could Cody Rhodes be okay with using not just Kevin, but all of his friends to help finish his stupid, pathetic little story at WrestleMania? Uh, but then he's okay with spitting in all of our faces by teaming up with Roman Reigns at Bad Blood. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't disagree with Kevin. Like basically everything Kevin has said so far has been technically true. The same way that what New Day uh that said about basically how they feel about their treatment. Uh Technically it's all true. It's just, you know, some of the shit that New Day said is kind of like, oh man, that's the stuff that you're not supposed to say out loud, buddy. You're supposed, you forgot to not say that with your mouth. You're supposed to just say that up there with your head part. You're not, the mouth is, oh shit. Okay, well, you know, and it's kind of like that. I mean, everything Kevin was saying is accurate, are technically true. And I think that's why I say that he, listen, Kevin Owens has done nothing wrong. Um, and I mean, if you think about all the bullshit that Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns went through together with each other for this belt, the back and forth that they had for so long, it feels very weird for Cody to, if you think about it that way, to just team up with Roman so easily for this match. I mean, if you think about it, the reason that he got involved in the match was because Solo is worse, right? But is he? He hadn't touched you yet. Like, I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't remember Solo Sikoa being so threatening to you, Cody, that you just couldn't make it. Like, even with you having the belt, they didn't really go after you the way they could have. Not the way Roman did. Not the way Roman went after you, and you didn't have a belt then. Like Roman went after you, bruh. And so it is kind of weird for you to just team up with them, especially when we have someone else who we have a comparison right next to you that WWE gave us in Seth Rollins. Seth, who has had about the same amount of heat with Roman as you by now, absolutely refused to team up with Roman. Even though the new bloodline was around, even though the new bloodline was a huge threat, even though Big Bronson Reed was somebody he really wanted to get his hands on and was teaming up with the new bloodline, Seth was still like, nah, man, I can't do that. And yet, Cody, the very moment you got an opportunity to team up with the bloodline, you did so almost as if you have been fantasizing about being a bloodline member for the longest time. Because here you are. And I mean, Roman did a number on you. Have we all forgotten? This is just as weird to me as Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins being best friends. Like, and even then, even with that, Seth tried to explain that fucking shit into the ground. Even with that.
Yep. Meanwhile, Cody Rhodes accepts this match after, on the same show where he accepted it, he had gone to Nick Aldis and said, I'm done with the bloodline. Forget about it.
So the same show, yeah, there it is. The same show that my man said hell no on. Our champion changed his mind the very same night to join up with the bloodline. That sound like somebody who is putting the career or his career over everyone else, or does it sound like somebody who is legit wanting to make a difference, wanting to help? Why would he care? Why would Cody Rhodes care about whether or not the original bloodline succeeds or fails? Why would he give a shit about that? He's been trying to take them down for I don't know how long.
Yeah. A smarter move would have been to allow them to implode.
The best move would have been to let them fucking shoot each other in the foot repeatedly until no one could walk. Like
Yep.
I just don't understand why you thought, and your excuse of this new bloodline being worse to who? Who exactly was this new bloodline? This new bloodline was better in comparison to the old bloodline with the way they treated your ass. This new bloodline hadn't really fucked with you yet. So it's a
I mean,
bad look.
Solo issued a few championship challenges, but
Yeah.
Cody made it through.
But we're talking
Um,
about issuing challenges and not just randomly
no,
wrecking your shit
yeah,
any chance they got.
yep,
Like, remember, you'd be walking backstage and all of a sudden feet come flying at your face, you get your ass whooped. Remember that? Remember when Jimmy and Jay were whooping your
yeah.
ass on
I
behalf
mean,
of the tribal chief?
I feel like Cody did what was popular, not what was practical, because the bloodline imploding on itself is the just desserts of their own actions, and he, on top of any betrayal that his friends who were victims of the bloodline might feel, is antithetical to the whole point of your story, which was to topple the bloodline
Yeah.
and to get that belt. And then you actively helped in having them avoid the consequences of, when inevitably evil is the Ouroboros that eats itself, it swallows itself, and this is what was happening. The bloodline was imploding and turning on itself.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So,
I think you're making a good case that Kevin Owens ain't wrong.
and because Kevin Owens knows the vanity of Cody Rhodes, because he knows that the only thing that's extremely important to Cody is Cody's image, is Cody's politician image. Like, no shit. That's the most important thing to Cody Rhodes, not his friends, not his relationship with his friends, not how he feels about anybody else, but it's ultimately how he feels about that belt and himself. And I can prove that. How can I prove that? Because Kevin hasn't gone below the belt. He hasn't gone below the belt yet in this promo that he's cutting against Cody. Not at all. When he asked Michael to actually do the thing and ask him the harder hitting questions, like ask him the question, uh uh like why did he join up, it's why is it okay to use your friends to finish your story. um he says, Cody, you know what? There's something I've been meaning to tell you. It's that no matter how long you're the champion for, no matter how many main events you're in, the truth will always be you're way more interesting as Stardust. Now we know Cody Rhodes hated Stardust. We know that was
Ooh,
one of the reasons
yeah.
why he was burning out on WWE to begin with, because they were fucking pigeonholing him into this Stardust character he just wasn't feeling. And apparently that was the thing that got him. Because now Cody's pissed. He had said, like, I could see this reaction if Kevin was like, the best thing to ever come out of you or come out of your family was your father. The best thing to ever happen to wrestling was the day you left WWE. Anything. Instead, he pulls up a character that Cody just doesn't like. He doesn't want to be reminded of. And now Cody Rhodes wants to go out there and find Kevin Owens. Now he wants to
uh,
go out there. I'm sure
he
Kevin
should have
has a lot
said,
more zingers up his sleeve, is what he says.
yeah. Yeah, if
Why
he
wait for him
really
to do
wanted to
more?
make Kevin Owens piss off Cody Rhodes, he could have said, "And after I whip your ass at Saturday Night Main Event and win that championship belt, I might choose to celebrate with a drink or two. I think I'll start with a sip of brandy." And then, then Cody could be infuriated.
Yeah, anything like that, like anything that's like below the belt, that's like a personal dig. Saying that he is way more interesting as Stardust. Why is that hurting your feelings? You have the belt. You have the world title on your shoulder, and him reminding you that you used to be Stardust is what gets you to go out there to go beat his ass. So now our champion is vain. Our champion is petty, And now our champion is dumb as a box of rocks. What do you mean you gonna go out there and find him? He's sitting in a parking lot in his car. You idiot. Where you going? So anyway, he's like, why wait for him to do more of those from wherever he's at? From wherever he's at, he's in his car. You don't know where it is in the parking lot. That's why this is dumb. But then
But it
he's
was
like,
a
maybe
it's
I'll
a
just
trap.
go and get Kevin Owens right now. Okay, yeah, sure, go ahead. Go walk out angry. Walk out into an arena full of cars, looking for the one car that has a guy in it talking to a camera, to a phone. Go ahead and do that. Hey, you're gonna find him any moment now. No, don't worry about it. He found you because he knows where you are, Cody. That's why I said it was stupid. You have no idea where his car is in this parking lot. You don't even know if this is a pre-recorded tape that you're watching. You have no idea. But you know that somewhere out there in the dark, in the night, is a man who called you Stardust. How dare he? So
How
then you
dare
go
he
out,
dare?
our champion, ladies and gentlemen, our champion, go out after all the buttons have been pushed in your dumb body to go out to look for a guy in a parking lot, a parking lot, I'm assuming, to go look for wherever he is. But he's in the building already because not only have you mentioned where you're going, but it takes you a minute to get there, don't it? So he's got time. And sure enough, he meets you. And so ensues a fucking brawl. Like they are going at it, man. Like they're like beating each other's ass. Officials are trying to separate them. Uh they're trying to separate them, but not before Kevin gets the opportunity to clock Cody with the WWE title and basically stand over him, menacingly. Stand over him. Woohoo. And then he drops the title on top of Cody as the show goes off the air. And I cannot stress enough how this to me, and again, take whatever I say with a grain of salt because I am a heel. It's cool. I've embraced this many years ago. But this is a bad look for someone that you're calling your face. That's what I mean when I say that he's tethering on the borderline here of between being a heel and a face. Not to mention, we haven't even gotten into Saturday night's main event, which is a whole nother podcast. But his behavior ever since this ever since this Kevin Owens situation has taken place, ever since people have started to question his reign or whatnot, he's not sounding much different than Roman Reigns right now. Um,
Man,
they're pretty much the same person, except one made the unfortunate mistake earlier in life to get a neck tattoo. Um, so that's really the difference right now. And I think Kevin Owens was right. I think that he called out the issue, and Team Owens, Team Owens.
hashtag justice for KO.
Plus his song, his entrance song is better. What? Fight me. It's better. It's a banger.
No, I think there's several things going on here that make this kind of interesting. One, breaking it down, Kevin Owens is not wrong. He's just on the unpopular side of the issue. Same thing with Seth Rollins making his case. It's popular right now to fanboy for Roman Reigns, right? Roman is popular. But have we all forgotten? Apparently so. This is kind of an ongoing theme in several of WWE storylines is there's what's popular and there's what's right. And the whole segment with Seth talking to Sami Zayn, Seth is correct, for all of what Roman did to everybody. Y'all just came running back the minute he came back. You're like abused girlfriends.
Oh
Not
no.
to I mean, but it's the same idea, right? Or
Yeah.
beaten dogs. I mean, pick one. Pick
Yeah.
something that's abused by something else but still keeps coming running back to it. And I think, in essence, that means that Kevin Owens is correct, Seth Rollins is correct, as much as people might not like it. Drew McIntyre is correct, but there's what's correct and there's what's popular. And all of these guys are championing causes that are not currently popular because they're what's right.
Yeah.
And that puts Cody Rhodes on the, like, he ain't correct here,
Nope.
so that's your champion, your face, that is not on the right side of the issue. And I think that makes it interesting because it's literally pitting what's popular versus what is in fact right. And I like that. It's a little more depth of story than you usually get. And so I'm here for it.
Yeah.
We'll see how it plays out. But that's an interesting current that's running through the WWE through several story arcs right now, through the Bloodline, through Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, all the way through the OG Bloodline and their fallings out with people like Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins. Because everybody, they created a whole nother championship to end the tyranny of Roman Reigns, and now the second he comes back from his loss at at WrestleMania, everyone's like, "Oh my God, OTC!" And they say it's because the new bloodline is worse. I define worse, like they're worse than the original bloodline
They've
was,
only
or they're
been,
worse in that they're not Roman Reigns and the Usos worse. Like
but
they're
the
not as popular.
but the only people that they have been worse for is the OG bloodline.
Yeah, well, for the moment, because that's the first resistance, but um I think it's more like Solo and this new bloodline were unknown, and the old bloodline was the evil you do know, right? Like,
Yeah.
insert Karrion Cross talking about the evil you know and the evil you don't. Um, it's perfect. I mean, there is a through line and an undercurrent here that is running through that very much is what is right and what is popular are not always the same thing, and I dig it. I think that's cool that even exists for like a wrestling storyline, and that might be why WWE is on fire right now.
Yeah.
That said, that brings us to, we just finished out the show. How would you rate WWE SmackDown?
I'm gonna say maybe 8.5 Nick Nubians. Um, it was good. It was fun. There was a lot of talking, just like there was for Monday Night. Raw. A lot of talky words, but the action that we did get was good. There was no real boring match. There was no real boring match. The promos were, even though there was a lot of talky words, the promos were decent. They were good. Um, I don't know why they caught Roman in the middle of his romantic getaway. I felt that was very rude. They could have waited, for him to get done. For them to come back. That was real fucked up, guys. But other than that, it was pretty good. It was fun, and I think I've said it over. I think I've said this 2 times now, so I'm gonna stop being repetitive, Pete, and say it was good. I liked it. No, it's fine.
Hey, was it good and did you like it?
Yeah, it was good. And I liked it. It was fun.
Nice.
But you
Yeah,
never heard that before. You're
no,
just
no.
waiting for my opinion. I'm gonna tell you right
I
now.
was.
Here, fresh and hot off the press, it was good. It was fun, and it was good.
And you also
Good,
liked it.
good and fun, and I did indeed like it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to agree. It was good fun, and I also liked it. This was, there wasn't anything mind blowing, but it was all solid. It was very, very well put together. I agree with you. There was quite a bit of talky words, but there's also a lot of storylines that they're trying to work, and every single one of the matches was. I mean, nothing blew into the stratosphere, like like match of the year contender, but they were all solid and good matches. So this definitely, for me, it's an 8 neck nubs to like you said, maybe an 8.5. It was definitely a top tier episode. So I want to thank everybody who joined us for this episode, and I hope you will join us for our next episode, which should be our coverage of.
Lord, who knows?
I want to say Saturday Night Main Event. I know, despite everything that was said on our last coverage of AEW Dynamite, AEW apparently felt the need to, like, without even hearing all those words, make me eat most of them because Collision blew us away.
I ain't eating shit.
Well, you're the heel. You don't have to. You'll just hand it over to me and say it's cookies. But yeah, they forced me to eat some crow. As down as I was about Dynamite, Collision blew it out of the water. It was really good, and we'll talk more about that in a later podcast. That said, I don't think there's too much left for me to do but roll the outro.
Bye, guys. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Top Tier Wrestling. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the latest AEW and WWE news and shows. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode. Follow us on social media for updates and to join the conversation. Until next time, everyone, remember, wrestling is always better when it's top tier.